Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. My name is Sagar, and in this video we'll see how we can use a form with temporary data source. So first of all, let's try to understand the scenario. Let me switch the legal entity to USMF. So I will take a simple example. So let me open my curse group form first. UP. Oh. Okay, this is my curse group form. So what I will do, I will so let me open the notepad first. It's good to understand the scenario first. Okay, so currently what I will do, I will create a button in my curse group form. Okay, so in my curse group form, I'm going to simply create a button. Okay, and this button will open another form. So let's say my form name is curse group temp, something like this. So this would be my new form, and I will create a new separate temporary table named as something like this only, curse group temp. Okay, I will create the table with same name and a form with this. So when I will click on this particular button, it will simply open this form, and the data, I will pass some data. For example, I will pass my curse group and description from here, and for example, let's say if I click here, when I will click on that particular button, that will pass 100 and this intercompany retail customer data, and that will get populated into my temporary table. Okay, so let's do it, then you will understand by the end of this video what we are trying to do. Okay, so the first requirement here would be to create a button in our curse group form. So for that, I can go to my form, and I need to create an extension of my curse group form. So I will go to curse group. I will simply create an extension of my form because as I need to add a button. Alright, here let me pin this. I will open my this form. Okay, my form is open now. Here I will go to my, okay, let me put it here first. Let me drag. Okay, so here I will go to this button group, and here I will add a button. Let me add a button. Okay, and I can give a good name to my button. So let us say I will say something like temp records or something like this. So in many scenarios, we need a temporary data source where we want to populate data like just for a temporary time or temporary purpose, just to show something in the user screen. So at that time, this would be helpful here. So I can see here temp record button. All right. So here this will simply create a button. Okay. Now this part is completed. Okay, but I need to open my this form and this table. So first of all, let me create a table first with this name. Then I will create a form. As we are creating a form, to reflect this in front end, we'll also need to create a display menu item. So let's create this first. So we'll create a table quickly with this curse group temp, or it's better to use TMP only. Alright, let me quickly create table. Okay, so as we are learning concepts, so we are not going to follow every best practice. So I will go to my data model. I will go to table. I will give a prefix here. I can say SC cust group. As my table is temporary, so it's good to add TMP at the end. So I will pass these to record, right? Customer group and description. So I will, let me go to my curse group data source, and from here let me try to copy these two EDTs. I will copy them and I will paste them here. Let me try again. Copy, paste. Okay, it's not pasting, so what I will do, I will open this. Now I'll try from here, copy and paste. Okay, now they are copied nicely. Alright, so let me click on table. So there are a lot of properties that we should consider, but for now, as we are just going demo, so I will say cus group TMP. Let me save this, and I don't think any other property is important here, as this is already a temporary table. Okay, now I will need to change it to no, and I will change the table type to temporary TempDB. Okay, so my temporary table is ready now. So once I have the table ready, now I can create a form. So I will go add new item. I'll go to my user interface. From here I can go to my display menu item. So I will give a similar name, that is sc cust group tmp. I will add. Okay. Oh, I created the display menu item, but that's fine. I also need that as well. Okay, so let me go to form. Sc cust group tmp. I will add this. Now inside my form, I will need to drag my data source. I can do it something like this. And here, we simply need to do demo, right? So that's why I'm not going to create a simple list or this type of form. I will say I will create on my custom form. Okay, and now it's inside my custom form, I will create a grid. Okay, and then let me do this. So here I will give a caption, a cust group temp. Let me choose the title data source as this here, and here I'm going to change the name to grid. Okay, that is all fine. Now I can drag these two fields, that is cust group and name. I will copy them and I can paste it here. Alright, now my form is also ready. Now the next thing is that we need to complete our display menu item. So I'll open my display menu item. We'll go to properties, and here I can give a label, that is sc cust, or you can say cust group tmp. And here I will need to select the object type as form. That is already done. So now I can select my form. So I can say sc cust group temp, and I can simply save. Yeah, so I'm going faster here, but you can watch the video in normal speed and you should be able to understand. Okay, now if I will go to my notepad, here my table is ready, my form is ready, my display menu item is ready, and my button is also ready. But now I will need to tell that when I will click on this button, what should happen. So for that, what I will do, I will go to my cust group form, and here either I can use COC, but I will use event handler here. Okay, I will say copy event handler, and then I can simply add a new class here. I'll go to class, and I can say here sc cust group button, and I will add event handler at the end just for best practice. I will say head. Alright, so I'm waiting for this class to get added. Okay, the class is added. Let me zoom out. I can auto hide this. Alright. Yeah, so here now I can write code. So I don't need this internal and final here, so I can remove this. I'm going to remove this. Okay, and then I can paste that event handler that I copied. Again, I don't need these comments because we are still learning. And let me even hide this as well. Alright, so here we'll write the code, how we can open the form. Already created separate videos how we can open one form from another form using X++ code. So I'm going to repeat the similar type of code. So here what I will do, I will initialize my arguments. Okay, but inside my argument, what I will do, I will simply, tell which form I need to open. So here the form I need to open is this one, right? SC, this SC cust, this SC cust group temp. So I will say here SC cust group temp. Here I have simply tell my arguments that I'm going to open this particular form. Okay. Now the next thing is that as per our requirement, when I will click on that particular button, only this current record should be sent, to my new form, right? So for that I will need to also save my records as well. So for that what I can do, I can define my cust group here. I will define a buffer of my cust group. Okay, then using my this sender, I can get my form run. Using my form run, I can get my data source. From my data source, I can get the current instance of record using cursor. So I will simply close this. Okay, now inside my argument, I can use this record function, and here I can pass my cust group record. Here we go. Okay, and once this is done, then I can use my form run to open the next form. So I can say here form run equals to new form run. Inside my form run, I will need to pass the argument form run, and here I need to pass the argument. So I can pass my arguments here, and then I will write that I will initialize my form using my init method. Then I will run my form using my run method, form run dot run, and then I will use the wait function here dot wait. Okay, now what this code will do, it will simply send the current cust group instance. Okay, now I will need to write some piece of code inside my temporary form. Okay, so I will quickly go to my temporary form now. Let me open this. Okay, oh no, this is the cust group form. Where is my, yeah, this one, this is the right one. Okay, here I will need to write code. Okay, so I will simply write code in my init method. So here we go. Okay, here we are now in our init method. Alright, so here let me remove these comments first. Alright, so I'm going to check simply. I will say if my element dot arguments, from my arguments I will check, I will use this name function, and here I will say if this is coming from my form str. Okay, here I will give my current form name, and I will simply check the condition first. Okay, whether when I'm opening this form. Alright, now the next thing is that I need to get the cust group buffer. Okay, so for that I will define my cust group table here, and inside this cust group I can easily get record. So I will say cust group equals to So I can say element dot args dot record. Okay, using this I will able to get the record inside my cus group table. Okay, and then I need to insert data inside my this table, right? So we have also this table, right? SC cus group temp. So now we are going to use this table and we'll insert the data into this particular table. So for that I can say SC cus group temp. Okay, and here I will say cus group TMP, or let me simply say the object as TMP only. All right. Okay, now here I will simply assign, I will say TMP dot cus group equals to, from my cus group I can copy my cus group record here, and then inside my temp table then I can insert the name. So I can say equals to cus group dot name, and at the end I can simply use my insert function to insert the record into my temp table. Okay, but at the end this is the most important sentence that I'm writing here, or you can say code. So basically I will need to write here something called scus group temp, and here I will need to use this function link physical table instance, then only this temporary table will work, and here I'll need to pass buffer of my this temp table. And let me save this. So now what I will do, let me do a build and then we'll see whether this is working or not. I will make sure the property is true here because we have also created a schema as well. So I'm going to do a build and then we'll see how it goes. So the build is completed, and now let's say when I click on this record, and if I will try to click this button, this will populate me the exit record in a different form. Similarly, if I'll go here, I can click on this temp records, so it will basically open my this form cus group temp. So if you go here, if you go to form, we have the exit label here. So properties, right click here, properties, SC group temp. Okay, so let me quickly reiterate what we did. We simply, the first thing that we created is, in this, we created a table. Okay, we added two fields here, and we changed the table type to temp here. Okay, right. So then we created a form. These are form. Oh no, sorry, this one is the correct form. Here we simply choose the pattern type as custom. I added a grade, and then I added these two fields here. Okay, and the next thing that I did is I created a display menu item for this, and I simply reference this particular label here, and I selected my form type here. Then the next thing that I did is I opened my I created extension of my out of the box cus group form. I added this button here, and then inside this button I simply provided a text here. Then I clicked on this event handler here. On clicked one, I created a new class, and here I write this code. Basically I created an argument. I provided my the next form name here. Then I get the using my sender.formRun.datasource.cursor, I get the current record of my cus group. Then I passed this argument using this record function here. Then I initialize my form run, I pass the argument, then I use this init run wait method. Now once this is done, then my new form will open, that is this one here. Inside my init method I write this code. I simply checked if element.args.name equals to this form star of this SC cus group form temp. Then I simply got the record from my previous form. Here I inserted the data, and then I use this particular method link physical table instance, and I as the buffer of my temporary table. So this is the whole process here. Thanks for watching this video.